200 miles down, 50 to go. Slept 2.5 hours in the last 82 hours. Don't think that's quite enough. And I'm feeling pretty broke off. My legs are killing me. But grind continues.
If you've been dragging to get your morning workout in today, hopefully one man's story can provide you with some motivation. He's a Verne firefighter who not only answers the call of his community almost every day, but also answers his own call to run as far as possible, as often as possible. He is just incredible. Battalion Chief Andy Glaze is also an ultra runner who's run 100 miles a week every week for more than 5 years straight.
That is unbelievable. The firefighter and ultra runner joining us live now this morning. First off, good morning, Andy. Let me ask you about your origin story here, because this is a couple decades in the work. You don't just wake up doing this. I read that you were battling anxiety, depression, and maybe being a little sedentary. How do you go from that to this?
Well, I mean, slowly. You don't jump into it like right into the deep end. It started just doing a couple miles and, going to the gym. And then, over a couple decades, it's turned into this. But it was a very slow process to get to where I am today.
You are so impressive. And I mean, you have so much on your plate. What is it like balancing being a firefighter who has long shifts and then having a family and then also being an ultramarathon runner? When do you find the time to train?
Well, I think I probably don't get enough sleep is the short answer there. Being a firefighter, you don't get enough sleep as it is. And so maybe I'm just used to it. But yeah, I think I wake up super early and get a lot of miles in the morning. And then I tend to do 2 runs a day. So then I run again at night. And yeah, it just all works out, I guess.
For your 9 to 5, your real job, not just running, how do you kind of get motivated to work your way through the ranks, and what motivated you to become a battalion chief and work your way up to that point?
Well, I mean, I think to become a battalion chief, I really wanted to be a bigger leader in my department, and I wanted to have a bigger say in the direction my department was going to go. I had been the labor union president for 10 years, and I felt like I had taken that role as far as I could go, and then I wanted to join the management ranks to be able to just push the department in that positive direction and make my department better. So, and so it took me a while, but I got there, and I'm super happy to be there now.
A lot of leadership skills involved with that role, and many of us have never experienced an ultramarathon.
And never will,
and
to be
never
fair.
will. Yes. So take us through what that experience is like, and how do you push through difficult moments in the race?
Yeah, I mean, so there's lots of different types of ultramarathons. There's some that are like 30 miles, and then they go up to, I mean, right now I think the longest one I've done is 300 miles, and I'm sure you can find ones longer than that too, because they'll do like multiple day events. But I mean, you basically just have to really mentally prepare that you're just going to start running, and you're going to run for days. And I know that sounds crazy, but I normally just sort of, they have aid stations with water and food, and they tend to be like maybe 15 or 20 miles apart. And so you just kind of break the race up like by aid station, like, oh, I only got to run 20 miles. And then you get there and then it's like, okay, I only have to run 15 miles. And you try never to think like, oh, I have 250 miles to go, or, oh, I have 100 miles to go. That emotionally might be a little taxing. So you just focus on aid station to aid station. And, I really like to do difficult things, and I like to overcome, those hard things in my mind. And so when it gets really, really hard and you really want to quit, I just remind myself, this is why I'm doing it. And, it gets really, really hard. But
Andy, I think for a lot of us, 15 miles in itself would be daunting. We don't need the extra 100. You have a 240-mile race coming up in Moab, Utah next week. I know you're preparing for it. Give us a little advice, not for the long distance running, but for a lot of us who love to take off days working out. We could find a lot of reasons not to run, not to work out. What do you tell yourself on those days where you may not be fully motivated?
For me, it's really, motivation comes and goes. And I think you can't focus on motivation as the way to get yourself out of the door. You really have to focus on consistency and discipline. And if you make that the focus and not motivation, because you're always like, oh, I'm motivated to wake up at 5 a.m. and go for a run, and then 5 a.m. comes and it's like, oh, I just want to sleep another hour. That motivation won't be there at 5 a.m. But if you're disciplined, if you're consistent, that's what's going to get you, out the door. That's what's going to get you moving. And then also like setting goals. If you have a good goal, then a lot of times that can get you out the door as well, because you're focused on something to complete. Quickly, Andy, what's your goal for this 240-mile race? What's your time you want to get? I think like about 85 hours would make me pretty happy. I wanted you to say that, because 85 hours is a ridiculous time to do anything. But that is an unbelievable task, and good luck next week on that race. 85 hours. That is what, like 4 days?
I think I just got tired listening to you highlight your experience.
Yeah.
Andy Glaze, thank you very much for what you do at work and for what you do on your off time. You're obviously an inspiration to a whole lot of folks. Good luck next week.
Thank you so much.